Come on, Charlie, take one.
Marker.
Okay, so I'd like to welcome filmmakers to the stage, and I'd like to introduce our moderator, James Glover. He is an Emmy Award-winning producer and managing partner at Switches and Modes Creative Group, where he leads a team of professional artists and producers to develop content for major entertainment companies, networks, and creative agencies around the globe. Prior to his current role, James worked as a producer and content developer for Fox Broadcasting, Viacom, and Fox Sports. Originally from New Mexico, a graduate of the University of New Mexico, go Lobos, he has been a valued partner with AFMX. He is a great friend, a great moderator, and a source of inspiration for yours truly, James Glover.
Thank you, everybody. I just want to say on behalf of the staff of AFMX, we are so very pleased that this is our closing event. To get to see all the New Mexico film talent that is up on the screen is so wonderful. So let's give a round of applause to our New Mexico filmmakers. Okay, so we've got more than a handful here up on stage, and so I'm just gonna pass the mic on down the row, introduce yourself, your film, and we'll have a conversation tonight.
Afternoon, everyone. Andy Kastelic. Our film was Blue Boy and the Misanthrope.
Hello, I'm Alex Giannopoulos. You saw 2 of my films, or technically 4 of my films. I wrote and produced Unresolved Phenomena, and I also wrote and produced Heaven, Heaven Sent, and Heaven Forbid.
Hello, I'm Sean Mallory, and this is my partner Alex, and with Alex I produced Unresolved Phenomena and the 2 of the Heavens sequences there, and I also acted in Unresolved Phenomena.
My name is AJ Dilly. I'm the cinematographer and assistant director of Kairos, the time-traveling one.
Hello. My name's Enrique Cruz, and I'm a writer-director of Stalled, the one with the truck.
Hi, guys. My name is Rob Tody, and I'm the writer-director of The Glass, the opening one.
Hi, my name is Bob Belinoff, and I'm the writer, producer, director, editor of Almost a Masterpiece.
All right, so obviously, that's a pretty diverse group of filmmakers, voices, landscapes, ideas. Usually, I'll sort of try to dig in, but I think we've got to be a little bit general here. What I'd like to do is I'd kind of like to just go down the line, or you can jump around if you'd like, but I always like to start with the genesis of the idea. Like, why did this need to be made? Why was this a film and not a painting or a song or a photograph? What was the genesis of this idea, and what was it that forced you to bring it to fruition? Because as we all know, the only way to bring a short film to the screen is to love it into existence, right? So we'll start with you.
Okay. Yeah, go with Blue Boy. Genesis. Like just as an artist, just trying to break into the level of visibility or success that you want. It's tough for everybody. I'm coming at that from actor, writer, director, and just trying to get into the industry. There are gatekeepers there, and there are people calling the shots that, despite whatever level of talent you have, a lot of that's up to somebody else. So a guy saying that he's not gonna want to go along with what the gatekeepers say, I think, was the genesis for Blue Boy. So that and a love for the language and the aesthetics of film noir through the century. So that was for Blue Boy.
I'm a frequent contributor to the 48-Hour Film Project, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. The first Heaven movie was made in 2009 for the National Film Challenge, which is the sister competition where they assign you a genre and a character. I had to make a Western with a mechanic. And the movie, I always loved it, but it won nothing. And it kind of got forgotten about. But 10 years later, literally 10 years later, we signed up for the 48-hour here in Albuquerque, and I always try to get the cast and the locations ahead of time that are diverse, that could work in multiple genres, and we brought in Bill Sturkey, the genius who's here, and Chris Atwood. And so I said, well, we could make a sequel to Heaven if we get a genre that works for it. We got detective, and so that's where Heaven Sent came from. We brought in Courtney Bell from the first movie at the last minute, and that one won. It was the first time I won doing that competition for about 15 times, I think. And then we were asked by the 48-hour film project to, since we were winners, to be entered into a special competition that year just for the winners, and they assigned us the same character, Billie Jean Gecko, as the last movie. So I was like, all right, God wants me to make a third one, but I said only if we could do it at Meow Wolf, and so I arranged that and somehow and so we made a trilogy, and I'll let Sean talk about Unresolved Phenomena.
I was gonna say, even with Unresolved Phenomena, we owe a lot of creative credit and influence to the 48-hour film project and similar competitions out there. It really pushed the direction. Unresolved Phenomena was a little unique in that we were stuck. Alex was stuck, I believe, for a little bit trying to figure out how we were gonna get that written out. Mockumentary is never easy, and so being lovers of 90s, 80s, and early 90s television, once somebody mentioned, I can't remember who it was somebody in the group mentioned, why don't we do unsolved mysteries? And I think it was a big light bulb for everybody in the group, and I think Alex really threw together a great script, and the cast, of course, as always, really came through. But yeah.
See, for Kairos, usually I don't work closely with the director and his wife, who's the writer for it, because we usually generally have a same idea of how things will go. So for that 48, actually, I almost missed that and wasn't able to do it. So I said, if I wake up in the morning and I feel okay, I'll come shoot it. If not, you're probably gonna have to shoot it yourself. So I woke up and made it to set and read the script, and it's crazy because when I read it, I'm like, this is an idea that I had as a kid to do, like a time travel, like doing all that. And the way it was like, that he wrote it too, that him and his wife wrote it, was like exactly on point. So it worked out really well. So I didn't have much to do with the genesis of that script, but it turns out it somehow worked out that way.
Yeah, I think as we all are, just being storytellers and wanting to tell that next story. And for me, it was about an estranged father and teaching a daughter how to drive stick shift. And I really try to limit myself with this specific one to one location and two people and just characters and who are they and what can we show about their history, but not really telling about their history, and just deep diving to just looking at them in two rooms, and everything kind of comes out and kind of comes to the surface with this one scene, and almost years of trauma and history kind of attempting to come to resolution. And yeah, and I had the truck, and so I was like, let's do it, yeah.
With the glass, it kind of came about from a friend of mine, a writer in Texas, who was just telling me a story about how he was sitting in a cafe and you had free water, and a guy literally walked up to his table and unapologetically picked up the glass and went and refilled it and just started drinking from the same glass, even though there was a pile of glasses there. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I thought, how could I, why would that happen? Is there some other reason that could happen? So I changed it into a perspective piece, different points of view. That's all.
Let's see. I made Almost a Masterpiece because I had to. and that's my relationship with film, is that I just have to make something. And in general, I've been working with people for 50 years. I'm an older filmmaker, so I'm not trying to get anywhere. I just like the way that pictures and music and images, you can create them out of thin air. And after working with people for so long, I wanted to do something where I didn't have to work with anybody. I had no logistics. I had no creative confrontations. I had no, everything was under my control. The other thing I wanted to say about the question was what compelled me to make it. I had to make it because I just love images. And I don't know where I'm going. I don't have a script. I just shoot images, and then I turn them into sequences. And then I look at the sequences and I say, well, what can I do with this? So to me, filmmaking is a very present tense thing. I'm not trying to make my exploration is for myself, and if I surprise myself, I'll surprise somebody else. So I'm just trying to have fun.
All right, so a lot of us in this room are filmmakers, and we're at least tangentially related to the film industry, and one of my favorite things in the world is to commiserate with other filmmakers. So when we go to the bar tonight, what's the story that you're going to tell as an entertainment story to your friends about some, I'll say a nice word, some stuff that happened either as you were getting into production, while you're in production, while you're trying to finish the damn thing? Regale us with a tale of woe and overcoming such an event.
Whoa. You know, I'll sneak in a quick plug in this answer. I think the team that I've gotten to work with here in New Mexico, at the end of the day, it's not a tragedy or a mishap of what happened. It sounds like it in the story afterwards, but the team is able to take it in stride. So you know, I never really have horror stories from when I'm able to do productions. I mean, Blue Boy is supposed to be in the bulk of their conversation, discovering each other is in a seedy motel as they're kind of hanging out and staying hidden from Battle Axe Sue, and it's supposed to be a seedy thing. And I mean, Blue Boy would go through a few takes of his monologues, and we had, you know, AK-47s outside, drug deals going on outside. We had, you know, addicts kind of coming up and tapping on the glass. We had cockroaches going through the frame behind him as he's doing his monologue, and yet all of that, we knew that deliberately going in, that was the feeling we wanted. So, I mean, it's a nice thing to say at the bar, you know. But at the end of the day, I think they all embraced that. So it's not really a badge of honor or anything. Is what we deliberately went for. Misanthrope, same thing. I mean, it was 6 or 7 days of just brutal elements. It's dead summer. You know, sandstorms, rainstorms, cold in the morning, blistering hot in the day. You know, and but it was a small crew and a small team, and they all knew that going in, and they used every bit of that going in. So again, not a badge of honor, just something that they signed up for willingly and went after. So I lucked out in that with team and cast. So.
Well, speaking again about this 48-hour competition, it's nuts. You got to make a movie, 7-minute movie. You have to write it, make it, and edit it in 48 hours, literally. The first one, I mean, I guess the craziest thing was that we shot it in Algodones for that western part, and then in Albuquerque for the scenes in the future on top of Lindy's Diner in an old hotel. The second one, I guess it rained. I don't know. And then the third one was the craziest, though, because that one we shot. I got permission to shoot in Meow Wolf. I don't know how they let me do it, but you know, I'm a location manager by trade, so I had some styling skills to it. But we had to shoot it while they were open, and the deal was we couldn't. I'm hoping you guys know what Meow Wolf is. It's Santa Fe. It's a crazy place, you know. But the deal was that we couldn't. interfere with anybody's experience there. And so we tried to not interfere. And most people were just pretty excited to see us shooting a little movie, but, it was super noisy. So every line in that movie is ADR, meaning we had to record it later. And it was a crazy day. And we ended up getting yelled at for actually ruining some people's experience, but especially in the part in the kitchen, wherever, there's about 1,000 people going into that refrigerator every minute, and we were trying to hold them back. But in the end, I don't think we pissed them off too much, hope. But I don't know, it was before the pandemic. I don't know if they'll ever let anyone shoot there again, but we'll see.
So I'm a little hesitant to tell this because if I tell you all now, I won't have anything to tell you later at the bar. But give it a shot. We have had terrible luck getting fog machines to work when we need them, and for the most part, we just can't find them. And so for Unresolved Phenomena, we had one. It worked. We gave it a test, the night before, and it was breathing smoke. And for a voodoo ritual, what's better than some smoke and some effect? And I think we spent about 8 hours trying to get that thing to work. And so eventually, I think we just put a filter over all the shots so it looked real 1980s anyways. So for all that stress, it was fixed in post.
For Kairos, it was, I would say, probably the bunker that we had to shoot in. They gave me the heads up in the very beginning when I showed up. They're like, we're going to film in a bunker. I'm like, okay, cool. It's going to be a decent-sized bunker, I would assume. And when I got there, there's like just that little hole that you can barely fit in, and then it's a 10 by 10 by 10 like room. So it's an actual it was in a Cold War bunker that this guy has in his house that had never been really used for that, and it had never been shot in either. So that was cool. But trying to get the camera in there and getting a wide enough lens to actually shoot in it was probably the more difficult thing to do. But I'm glad I got to do it and say that I filmed in a Cold War bunker. So
I think for stalled, it was probably in prep when I decided I should probably know how to drive stick shift. So it was kind of teaching myself how to formally learn how to drive stick shift. So yeah, I learned how to drive stick shift. I did stall it a few times. But while we were shooting, it was funny enough, difficulties of actually stalling it, because in the part where she stalls and she gets upset, we couldn't stall it. But yeah,
I think for me, it's not really a funny story, but it's just a perplexed look on everybody's faces, the cast and crew, my cinematographer, Ryan Dobbs. They're always looking at me. Nobody had no idea what we were doing the entire time except me. They were just like, why are we shooting it from this angle? What is this? What part is this? And no one knew. It was 67 shots in 4 minutes. So I just had to kind of piece it all together in my head and just hope they trusted me.
I guess the hardest or the most unusual thing for me in making a film, being only one person and also being the camera person and the star of the film, requires a tripod. And you also have to set the camera on automatic so you don't get any of those rich, deep, focused shots. So you have to have it. It ends up, the picture ends up being very graphic. But the most difficult thing is to put the camera on a tripod and then run around in front of the camera and act and not have anybody be able to tell you whether you're in frame or not. And you can only tell this when you go back and push see what you shot, and you go like, this is not even close. So everything has about 25 takes because you keep narrowing down the spectrum until you're in the shot. And you do this over and over again, and you can see why people have a crew. But like I say, I didn't have any creative discussions and certainly no creative confrontations because it was just me, and I had my own time, and it was exciting for me. One-man film show creates some problems.
All right, well, this is an awkward segue because filmmaking is a team sport, and it takes a whole lot of people to put these things together with the exception of one. And so I'd love to hear from our group here about the film community in New Mexico and the community that you've developed around yourself and your partners and your collaborators to sort of bring these things to fruition, because it takes a great deal of effort from a great number of people. Even if you're doing it by yourself, you got to show it to somebody first, right? So it's a matter of finding people that you trust creatively and then convincing them that you're not crazy. So I'd love to hear about your experience with the New Mexico film community and the people that you've brought on to collaborate with you. Start at the end, yeah, please.
I'll start this in. We live in Corrales. I'm kind of a recluse. We've had a pandemic for 2 years. I don't know anybody. Andy Kastelic is the only guy I know, and he's the guy who started me out in this whole thing kind of a few years ago. So I want to salute him. The rest of I think it's wonderful all these people are here, and there's such a large film community. I wish I were more a part of it, but I'm at the end of the line here.
And I just really I'm an actor, so I just started with the whole filmmaking, directing, writing thing just this year. I've made 3 films already, but so.
Shout out your collaborators. I mean, shout out the people that have been helping you.
Ryan Dobbs has been part of my. Raise your hand, Ryan. Ryan, he was my lead actor in my first film, and then he was my cinematographer in my second film. But he was also the editor of both of them. So he just jumped in and he wanted to be involved in all of it. And my wife, of course, when she's not working, I drag her in to produce and do everything else. So, but everyone I called out and reached out to they're super nice, and everyone from New Mexico. They're all really cool, and they just nobody says no. Generally, I ask them, they're like, yeah, sure. I'm like, really? Is that it? There's no money involved, right?
Yeah, I mean, just shout out to my DP, Andy, who if he wants to stand up, and Jocelyn, the Sydney from the film. They're right there. Just raise your hand. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think every project up here takes an army to make it, and yeah, I mean, I have my people, my day ones, and much love to them, and it's just everyone just supports each other and our ambitions and dreams to make a great story and make it in New Mexico. Yeah.
Let's see. I'll just do shout outs. I'm the cinematographer for 3 of my friends who are all directors. So to Matthew Evans for Los Mutados Studios, to Elijah Costales for Banana Wall Studios, and to Alex Johnson of Rockledge Studios. So thank you for allowing me to be your cinematographer and get to do stuff like this, and hopefully we'll all continue to do so, and then all of us here will continue to do film for the rest of our lives. Yeah, I'd say we're pretty blessed to have such access to incredible talent in front of the camera and behind the camera. Really take advantage of it, especially knowing guys like this who are in the industry. It's not hard. It's hard to get the money for these projects, but it's definitely not hard in Albuquerque, especially to find the talent and crew necessary to pull off beautiful shots like you see in Blue Boy, and lots of talented people out here. That's it.
Yeah, I've been doing this a long time. But me and my one of my good friends, Jack Roberts, who is the director and editor, sadly he couldn't be here. But him and I teamed up in college or earlier. We used to be on public access and stuff, and but throughout the years we've developed a small family, Ultimatum Pictures. A lot of other location people. Sean and I grew up together. He joined us, which was a great blessing. And then, but the cast, though, the actors here in town are really talented, and we've often tried to recruit people who we see in other movies. Over the years, we reuse them as we can. I have my eye on this guy. It's really great. But yeah, it's people are very eager here to help out, I would say. Or I would think in other cities like LA, it might be more like, "What are you gonna pay me?" or something. But everyone, I just try to feed everybody and keep them comfortable, honestly, because you get their time and talent for free a lot of times.
New Mexico film community. In my experience, I've been back to New Mexico for the last 10 years. It's no secret New Mexico is trying to claw its way up the ladder, and being a hub for with that I think it's invigorated the community. I'm talking on a professional level in what I'm seeing, bringing a lot of interest in how that's affected me and my team. It hasn't, I don't think, because I think I was able to, fortunate enough to kind of have a very small team that I started or that found me, or I found them back in 2014, 15, and I've been able to stick with them all the way. And I've kind of insulated myself in not reaching out for other certain key players in that. And I think it's something that doesn't work for everyone. I think it is very collaborative, you know. But for the formula that we were working with, I think it's been a strength to kind of keep working the same. And hopefully carry that on up to the professional realm. And a lot of the people that have been in my group, I've got to see them grow, and they're big hitters around here now. You know, people are after the actors that I'm still fortunate enough to work with, the cast and crew that I'm still fortunate enough to work with. I think it's no secret. I mean, everyone wants Giannis to shoot their things now. So Giannis, keep going, buddy. Everyone wants to cast Sarah. Everyone should want to cast Jack, you know. So, and I've got to work with those guys several times now, and a bunch of new ones. I'm done with my shorts now, so I'm on to the features. So that dynamic could change, and I will have to kind of crack open that team now. But I think for everyone, yeah, it's been injected. The New Mexico film community has been injected with a lot here in the last few years, and just a plug to AFMX, just being at the forefront of that, you know, just kind of keeping tabs on who's who and getting people, getting people to pitch their projects, all kind of opportunities. So I'm done. There you go.
You hear that, everybody? These guys are looking for collaborators. They want to work with all of you. So there's a huge opportunity to build a community around an event like AFMX and these films that are being made throughout the year. All right, I want to bring it back to your films that we just saw. And I kind of just want to briefly dive into just sort of what the takeaway was for you as the experience of making this film and moving on to the next one. As it, you know, each one is a step up the ladder or some propulsion to the next thing. And so I would just love to sort of explore that with you.
Yeah, we did 3 back-to-back last summer. All had kind of been leading up to that point, and they all genre films. All took it up quite a bit for us, caliber-wise, genre-wise, budget-wise, production-wise. So starting out with the Misanthrope, I mean that was 3 weeks straight there. So yeah, we tired everyone out. The first, you know, on the Misanthrope was the first one we did, and it was just it was a test for everybody to kind of see where they stood and how well they could take care of themselves and maintain their creativity along a longer track of production. So that scheme that we did of doing 3 back-to-back, I think I know my people a little, I know my collaborators a little, I know how they can hold up to things, I know what they can't hold up to. I know what their strengths are in the long run, and the longer run is the goal. It is feature filmmaking, it is series, it is bigger things like that. So I think it was a very successful experiment in production. So, and that kind of catapulted us into this summer, where we've just did another 2 back-to-back, the last 2 that we'll be doing, and use those skills that how to pace yourself, how to take care of yourself, how to what stories we need, what they don't, just applying everything that you're learning in the short filmmaking realm, which is why you're doing it, you know, and we applied it all in these last 2. So looking forward to wrapping those up and see how the goals from what you just saw, Blue Boy and Misanthrope, and how we even improved since then on these last 2. So
short film is hard. You make a short film and often no one sees it. You put it in festivals like this, but you put them online, nobody watches short films online. It feels like you put them on YouTube, you get 0 views, and you try to get them out there. So, it can be frustrating. I do the 48-hour film project because, for one, I work every minute of my life, so I need to. I need to do a creative outlook, and that competition lasts 2 days. So you get everyone together for a weekend, then it's over, and it gets shown to an audience and screened, and then you lose, and then you get frustrated, and then you never want to do it again, and then you do it again. But then you get those films live on. Unresolved Phenomena didn't win anything in the competition, but then it went on to win Best Film in the Cannes Short Film Festival, which was a pretty big festival, which kind of blew my mind. And thanks. And then I was, and then doing stuff like this, the films live on, and you get to show it to new audiences, and And I don't know. If I don't make 2 movies a year, I feel like it's a waste of a year. I feel like I just love doing it, and I love getting people together, and I would love to make a feature someday, but we'll see someday.
Ditto. You got just highs and lows, and if you really love it, you get excited for things like this, even if there's 1 or 2 or 3 people in the audience. You're just getting out there and showing your work. It's one of those highs. Let's see what the low feels like after. But
I think for Los Matares, the director Matthew had told me that what he learned from it too is just like every time we're done with the 48, we'll go back and watch it and then correct everything, kind of rearrange it and assess what we can do better with the next one, whatever it may be, what we learned and like how we were able to grow with each other as a team and how we can better like help each other out and growing each other in everything that we do. He always surprises me too every time we work with each other too. For this one, he's like, we're doing 5 locations. I was like, so I had to pick up my camera and run all these locations. I'm like, okay. So that's just what I've learned is like just him giving me challenges. For 1 year for the 48, just that morning before we started shooting, he's like, oh, okay, here's my idea. Don't get scared, but I want to do this film as all one take, no cuts or anything, just an actual like one take. I was like, you telling me this now, right when we're about to shoot? So that's just helped me grow. That's how he helps me, and then also just helping him direct too, and all of us just growing off each other has been a real great experience.
Yeah, I think you learn and grow from every story. You sharpen your pen. You just keep making, and yeah, I mean it's just staying true to what matters, which is the story and the characters, and just staying true to yourself and being genuine with what you tell. Yeah.
What was your name again? AJ. So everything that AJ just said, just pretend I said all that, because it's pretty much the same.
I just wait for the next thing to inspire me. I can't make a film unless something turns me on. A shape, a piece of music, something has to click. And I don't know what it'll be, but something's going to click, and I'm going to make a film.
Awesome, excellent. All right, so we've only got about 5 minutes left, so I'm gonna just let you guys go down the line and say your thank yous and all that other stuff. But I want to hear what's next. When are we gonna get to see your next piece of work? Or and this is your opportunity to a room full of people. If you need some help with it, maybe shout it out.
Yeah, just 2 shorts from this summer. I'll hopefully be screening at AFMX next summer, and after that, just after some representation and workshop in the first feature. So thanks. Yeah, I got a lot on my team here this time. Let me see if Virginia, how you doing? Who else do I have? Sarah. Everyone knows Sarah. Sarah for the MISANTROPE. Sarah did a lot of. Sarah went through quite a bit to. Everyone wants Sarah, and when I went after Sarah, I said, I'm not going to give you any words. And she's a very talented actress, but to just, everything visually, everything nonverbal, it was a challenge. Thank you, Sarah. I went through a lot to do that. I had big teams on these last, Trina, you back there? I had big teams on these, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that community of not asking for money will hold up. That's something that a small pond, that small pond mentality, the bigger New Mexico gets, that may not be the case anymore. And so I'm lucky to work with a lot of you professional actors, and often not having to pay, and we get payment in some other form of collaboration or end product or future prospects. And thank you to the team. That was muddled. Sorry, guys.
As far as what's next for me, I don't know. I always like making these shorts. I've always aspired to be a writer, and so I keep trying to pursue that. I've written a lot of pilots and scripts, and I hate my job as a location manager, but that's another story. After the Heaven trilogy, I was like, oh, this is my thing, and I started writing a pilot for it, and then I saw that Amazon put out a show called Uploaded, which is basically the same idea, and so I kind of abandoned that, but I had that idea in 2009, so they stole it from me. And But you know, I went to a lot of workshops here. It kind of inspired me to try to find representation for my writing, especially now that I've won a couple of awards. And so that's what I would love to do. But as far as what I'm gonna do, I'll probably just keep working till I'm dead.
Just want to get last minute crew shout outs. I forgot to mention Colmar Nichols, who shot all of our stuff. Wonderful job. And to Jack Roberts, who couldn't be here as well. Just keep it short. TV pilot 2023 in the summer.
Just thank you to everyone at Los Matades, and thank you all of you here for being here. And just want to say that go out there and shoot something. Go grab anybody, grab people you know, people you don't. Just go out there and just shoot something. And then what's next for me is I probably need to go home after this and start editing a film that was shot in March. That it should be done by now.
Yeah, I mean, thanks to the cast and crew, the people already mentioned here, and the people that couldn't make it. Thanks to all the filmmakers up here that y'all are super talented, and you know, I'm inspired now to keep working on my own projects. And yeah, I mean, for me, it's just really, you know, going back to the basics and, you know, becoming a better writer and, you know, just trying to keep making stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so pretty much what Andy said on this one. Except I don't think you worked with Imani Caldwell, did you? No. Okay, so Imani Caldwell. Oh, Bill. See, yeah. Well, I like all those people. So, gonna give you a shout out, Trini. Yeah, Jocelyn. Yeah. All right. Cool. But of course, Ryan Dobbs, my wife, Laura Love Toti. Not Ryan Dobbs, my wife. Laura Love Toti, my wife, and Ryan Dobbs. And okay, now I'm taking up entirely too much time. Thanks.
I just want to thank my wife, who's sitting right here, who also plays Georgia O'Keeffe and is supporting the female lead. the female lead in 5 films that I've made in about 4 years, and the next film, I don't know, but I've been going back.
All right, and I just want to say really quick, if you'll forgive me, as a native-born New Mexican who was born and raised here and chose to leave in my youth, it is such a treat to get to come back, be here with all these talented people, and get to have all of you watch their work up on this screen. So on behalf of AFMX and all of us that got to be up here doing this with these filmmakers, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, James Glover. Thank you, filmmakers. Thank you for being here supporting New Mexico film. That wraps up for 2022. Go out there, create, get your works in, and we'll see you here next year at 2023.